Ben Jones, man, welcome to the Intangible Podcast. Excited to have you here. It's always interesting to sit down and talk to former O-linemen who, we lean on intangibles. And I think this podcast, we want people to understand what are these intangibles that these guys keep talking about, like leadership, composure, and who else better to talk about it is another former O-lineman. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, bud. I'm happy to be on here and looking forward to this.
Yeah. Now you come to Tennessee, when I was kind of getting ready to walk out of this league. But I remember you when I was playing here. I remember you were the guy that would walk on the field with no shoes on, the big country guy. And I was sitting there thinking, like, what is he doing? and now just kind of getting to know who you are and all that. I was like, okay, he goes back to one of us, because I grew up on a farm and I definitely walked around with no shoes, but I was one of those kids that I didn't want anybody to know that.
I got you.
So again, I'm really excited to dive into your story and who you are and what you're about. So let's start there. Let's take us to, how you grew up.
Yeah. I grew up in a small town in Alabama. And we got around.
Oh, man, these Alabama guys.
Yeah. Dirt roads, no cell phone service, no internet growing up. It was a different way of life. At the time as a kid, I didn't know if I liked that. I'm like, man, this farm life sucks. Like out there dealing with cows, like you're nowhere near friends. Only people, my nearest neighbor was a mile away and it was my grandma on the dirt road. So going to college was definitely a culture shock for me. But now I would love to go back. Like now I'm in the city. I'm like, man, I would love to just hear crickets at night, frogs, and see some stars. Now I'm worried about who my neighbor is. Yeah. And it's a different way of life now. Like you hated it when you were young, but now I definitely miss it.
It's pretty interesting now that I have my farm. I spent my whole life running from it, and now it's like therapy for me. No doubt. Get back out there and I can just turn my phones off, no one bother me, and just get on that tractor and ride all day long. So I know that feeling. So you growing up in a small town, was it a football town or was it just a true farming town?
It was a baseball town. Like we had multiple guys get drafted out of high school for the MLB. My brother went on and played for Alabama and went on and played in the Tigers organization. We had another guy, a couple years older, play for the Giants and for the Marlins. So it was diehard baseball. Like it was literally sports or you're working on the farm. So it was nothing in between. Like everything, even our Walmart closed at 10 o'clock. Like nothing was open.
Wow.
After dark. Like it was nothing to do.
Wait a minute, time out. You said small town. Y'all had a Walmart?
We got one. We got one my junior year of high school.
Big time. You big time. They call that hot cotton right there.
We got groceries and all. And we went from a Piggly Wiggly to a Walmart with groceries. We were living a good life. I remember like half the kids checked out of school just to go walk the Walmart. That was a big deal because we're getting our red light over there we're by they were putting the interstate through our hometown. So if you're coming through, you're going to get stopped. So just go ahead and let you know, if you're coming through Brent and Centerville, we're going to get y'all on the ticket. You're going to pay us.
You got to get that quota up, man.
No doubt. We're going to get y'all out of towners.
Man, so yeah, a baseball town. Did you play baseball or you just?
I did. I played all the way through. My junior year, I lost in the state championship. And
let me guess, you was a catcher.
First baseman. I've been this size since I was probably since I got to high school. So nothing's changed for me. I've been 6'3", 315 for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm in that club. I was 315 in high school too. People are like shocked when we say that. It's like, no.
This is what I've looked like for a long time.
Yeah. So I mean, were you a big hitter or you just put it in play? So I was the guy. You was like a smart guy. You weren't a smart guy.
So I was the guy. I was blind as a bat and didn't know I was blind. So everybody thought like, hey, this big kid can hit a fastball. I couldn't hit a fastball because I couldn't see it. So everybody would throw me a curveball and I could hit a curveball a mile. So they'd come up, I'd see a fastball, I'd take it. Then they'd throw me a curveball and pow, I'd hit it off the wall. They'd be like, man, this guy can hit. I'm like, all you have to do is throw me 3 fastballs. I'd never see them. But they never knew.
So, I mean, did you never go get your eyes checked, or it was just kind of like?
So now I didn't really notice. I couldn't even read the scoreboard in high school and college. Like I didn't want to wear glasses. And contacts didn't work. And finally I got in the league and they're like, hey, you have this eye disease that literally, you make a mouthpiece with like the mold.
Yeah.
They did that to my eyeballs and made my contacts now, if you can't see, they literally cover my whole eye. I got to put them in with a plunger, take them out. Like,
don't tell me you have keratoconus.
I do. That's exactly what I got.
Same thing.
Look at that's how we know we're brothers.
I got to say, literally, I have the same. I have the same.
So you know
same thing.
The struggle.
Yeah.
You take them jokers out every night,
and it fell off the cliff for me. I was a 20/20 vision, like a sophomore in high school, and then all of a sudden I woke up, I can barely see. I'm like legally blind.
Yes,
without my contacts.
I remember going to college and they were like, Ben, why can't you see that guy? I'm like, dude, I just point. I'm whoever that is, Mike him. And they're like, wow.
Well, in college, I was always playing with different contacts, trying to figure it out. And then I went to when I got to Seattle, there was a guy there that was creating these Jupiter lenses that covers your whole eye, because the little small ones that kind of cover it, those didn't feel like sand in my eye.
Yep.
And finally, when I got those, I was like, oh man, I'm good now.
Oh, I could see it all. Like I had no clue until I literally got to Nashville. I met with a guy here, Hutchinson's like, hey, go see my guy over here in town. I'd hit a golf ball and I'd literally have to turn around and look at my partner and be like, where'd he go? No clue.
Yeah.
And that helped the golf game and helped a little bit of everything in life.
Yeah. So again, a lot in common here. So
no doubt.
So now you're growing up, you're trying to figure out, where did football fit into this whole thing for you?
Right. So for me growing up, I had a lot of injuries. 10 years old, I got hit in the head with a baseball bat watching our high school in the state championship game. So had emergency brain surgery, had a fractured skull, blood clot on the brain. So that threw me for a loop. 6 months before that, my dad passed in a helicopter crash. So as a kid, I didn't know what was going on. I'm on a farm. You lose your dad, who was like our rock in our family. Then that happens and sports got taken from me. I was like, that's everything for a kid. Like, love my dad. I used to go to work with him all the time in the summers. He was a forester, so I was always in the woods doing all that on the farm. From losing sports, I was like, I went into a dark place. And literally, as a 10-year-old, you having to wear a baseball helmet to school. Yeah. Sitting there in class, like, hey, you're getting bullied.
All the kids.
And no matter how big you were, those things hurt.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about mental health and all that. And I was the kid that built up that anger. And I took it out in football. Like, that was my way. Like, hey, I got to put on a helmet and play football again. Those kids paid. Yeah. And I played with that edge all the way through. I was like, hey, if I ever get to go back out there, I'm going to make it a purpose to go out there and dominate.
How did you keep it confined to just the field?
Yeah.
Especially as a big guy, when it's like, once you kind of get that urge and you know what it feels like. I mean, for a lot of us O-linemen control aggression. It had to start early to figure out how do I manage this.
Yeah, I had an older brother who was our quarterback, like Mr. Golden Child in our town, like valedictorian, got drafted out of high school in baseball, and we fought. Like, I never fought anybody else, but we fought high school. We fought senior night in college, me and him in the bar together. Like, he is literally my best friend, but we held each other accountable. If one of them was popping off, I remember my wife saying, like, why are you fighting your brother? Y'all are grown. I'm like, that's just how we do it. Like, if we disagree, we're going to punch each other in the mouth, look each other, and I'm like, all right, we're good now. We ain't going to hold any beef. I'm not going to be mad at him after it. We just a little different. Yeah, so I think other people knew that, and they saw us fight in school. That was the only time I got in a fight at school. I put a rat in his lunchbox, and he squealed like a little girl, and he lit me up in school, and I was like, and people was like, man, this kid will fight his brother. I ain't messing with him at school. So that's how we were. The only fight I got in school was with my older brother.
That's wild. So now you take that and you say, how do I climb myself out of this dark hole?
Right.
What was that process like, trying to just get yourself out of the dark hole, and not saying like, football is that sanctuary, but there's still like these emotional pieces that you have to deal with and go through, and also be able to function as a student.
Yeah. My mom was a rock for us. She never let us take any pity on herself. Like, she was going to find something for us to do. Like, I couldn't play football, and the doctor's like, hey, I think he can wrestle. And literally in our hometown, we have no wrestling. So she drove me 45 minutes every day to Tuscaloosa. It's like, he's going to do something. Like, he's not going to sit here and feel bad for himself. So she took it out of the way. My granddad would take my brother to football, and she would drive me up to Tuscaloosa, and I'd go to wrestling. Never wrestled in my life, but I thought I was Bill Goldberg back in the day. So, and that was the thing, like, that was at an early age, like, hey, it held me accountable. Like, I had to be at a certain weight class, and she'd drop me off at the mailbox on the way home. Most people's mailbox right down the corner. Yeah. Mine's a mile away. Yeah. And I'd have to run home every day from either coming home from work or coming home from football or something like that. She'd be like, hey, run home. I'm like, Mom, She's like, did you run a workout today? I'm like, no, ma'am. She's like, all right, go ahead. She had a key to the high school weight room, so I'd play a baseball game. She'd be in there spotting me after games. She didn't play. She said, if you're going to do something, you're going to do it to your fullest. And working out and being in shape is one of those things. And it worked out. Two of her boys both made it to the professional in 2 different sports.
That's awesome, man. I didn't realize you had an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that. And now I know why you got a baseball guy, you got 2 baseball kids that got this mentality of farm life. Hey, if we can take it out on each other, nobody's gonna mess with us in this school.
No doubt.
Nobody, because I had a bunch of cousins and we always took it out on each other, but when it came to other people, they didn't bother us.
100%.
Yeah. So as you started to kind of figure out, which sport you're going to like really lean into, football or baseball, was it the writing on the wall with baseball, or was it just, hey, I'm just a big guy, I'm going to go play football?
Yeah, I enjoyed playing baseball, but I really enjoyed the aspect of going out there and hitting and all the stuff that came. I loved working out. I loved that. And my body size. Like, I could only play first base in high school. And football, I could play O-line, D-line. I had multiple places I could fit.
Yeah.
And I felt long-term like this is going to be the best fit for me. Baseball's fun, but I need to chase this dream right here of football.
So were you highly recruited coming out of high school?
Literally, my hometown, it was a really small town. So I played baseball. I was in the state championship. Troy was there, and they saw me and they're like, hey, we're going to offer him for football. I'm like, all right. Then the next day, I didn't have any offers. I went, my uncle called the Nike or whatever rivals camp, was like, hey, do y'all have any opening spots? They're like, yeah, somebody dropped out. So showed up to a camp in Atlanta, got the MVP. Then after that, I was my going into my senior year.
Wow.
Georgia, I went to the Georgia camp next week. They offered me, went to Alabama the next week. They offered. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to Georgia. They're like, you're not going to take any visits or anything? I'm like, nope, know where I'm going.
I mean, even though your brother went to Alabama, you said, I'm going to Georgia.
So my dad went to Georgia, and I grew up the only person living 20 minutes from University of Alabama wearing a Georgia jersey growing up as a kid because I wanted to go there and honor my dad. Like all my family's originally from Georgia, and that was my way. Like, hey, my brother's close to home playing baseball. Yeah. I'm going to get away and go out there and try to honor my dad.
So this is in your DNA.
No doubt.
In your DNA. So you got to make this transition from small town to the big town, Georgia. Man. How did that go for you?
Yeah, all we had was a little beep beep phone, Southern Link. So you can only beat people from Alabama or Mississippi. Other than that, you were roaming. And having to go to Georgia, get a cell phone, have a computer.
Was it the old Nokia with the snake game on it?
Oh, yeah.
No, you probably. Yeah,
no, we had. It was only Southern Link.
You flip phones and all that now.
We had BlackBerry Curve or something like that. And I remember getting to college, like never having a computer, never been on the internet really. Like, wow. I'm like, where in the world am I? Getting there, and for my hometown's a dry county. Like everybody, either you're going to the church, football, baseball, or fishing. That's it. It's no in between. And getting there, I'm like, it's so many distractions in life. How am I going to do this? And I remember calling my mom that first week. I'm like, Mom, this is not for me. Like, this is not what I signed up for. Like, I am lost. I'm waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, walking to workouts in the morning because I can't park nowhere on campus. I'm like, the buses ain't running. I need to come home. I'd rather be on the farm. My brother comes like, you don't want to go to that farm, bud. I'm just going to tell you, if you go there, you're going to be there the rest of your life. I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick it out through spring. And after that, I kind of found my way, and I'm glad I did.
It's such a good feeling when you kind of can sit through that kind of discomfort for, the first little while of going into college. As you think about that, what are your thoughts on that? What's happening right now with the transfer portal, NIL? What kind of resilience are we really teaching young kids? Like, that's
my thing. You give them a way out. Like, you were going to a school and you were going to be there for at least 3 years. You had to graduate to leave. And no matter how hard they coached you, no matter what you did, you were there. So you might as well make it work. Like, it was no, I'm going to just go to another school or ask for more money. Like, you got to hold these kids accountable. Like, that's when you turn in from a boy to a man real quick in college, when they're killing you in morning workouts. They can coach you a certain way because they ain't got to worry about you leaving. Like, I go back to Georgia all the time. Same O-line coach is back there now. And I'm like, man, you are soft. He's like, boy, Ben, if I holler at them, they'll get in their feelings and they'll be gone in 2 weeks. So he's like, I got to give certain kids amount of reps or they'll be gone. We'll have no depth or anything. I'm like, yeah, I remember you used to throw that hat at me and tell me to go run to that light pole. I'm like, the light pole? Anytime you had a bad snap or did something, he would just point. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go run 500 yards and be back for the next period. I'm like, I think it's a different day and age, and I wish they would find a way to hold these kids accountable and make these kids grow up like we were. That's how you turn a kid into a man.
I know, man. I mean, it's because it's so fresh, the quarterback, and I'm not even going to say his name because I know I butchered his name.
Yeah.
Quarterback from Tennessee, you know, just now you're, you know, not to say he's wrong. This is just an environment that we're in, but I always think about, you know, we're thinking about things in the short term right now, and what does that look like for you long term? Right. You know, and when you look at a kid like that, just because it's fresh, you know, is there, you know, what would you say to a kid like that or a parent to, you know, that's trying to navigate it? Again, we didn't have to go through it the way they have to go through it, but at the same time, we can still sit back and look at the foundation that we were able to build, and that can make these transitions from different environments and do it well, because we had to sit through a lot of this discomfort.
Yeah. I think these agents, these guys who are helping them through this process are not always looking out what's best for the kid. They're trying to figure out, hey, how do I make this kid the most money and I get the best kickback? Instead of, hey, let's not push this agenda. Let's do what's best for him long term. I think everybody has their own agenda these days. And from the marketing deals for this, hey, what's the quick payday for me? And instead of sitting back like, hey, you're going to make your money down this line if you perform this year. All it takes is one more year. Let's keep you comfortable and you'll be in the league. But they want the payday, and a lot of times they're not looking at what's best for these kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough environment to be in. I don't, when I look at these kids, I feel bad because it's, you know, they're just like too stunned because you think about if we were making that kind of money in high school, you know, would it stunt your growth?
No doubt. I think that's what college is. Me and my wife talked about it the other day. And having to sit there and I'm like, hey, I got to go eat at the dining hall. I got $10 in my account. Like, I got to put money in my scooter. I got to make this hit to the next scholarship cap.
You had a scooter in college?
Hey, I sold cow. I sold everything to get that scooter. I sold bunk to get my scooter.
I mean, Georgia, I forgot. Y'all got this big campus. Ole Miss, our campus wasn't that big. So
we need to go back to scooters.
We walk everywhere.
We need to go back to scooters. All our speeding tickets at Georgia. We need to go back and ride our little 50cc scooters that go 10 miles per hour around campus.
You know, y'all got Hellcats right now flying around.
No doubt.
So now you're in college. At what point now at Georgia that you feel like, all right, I belong here?
Yeah, that first spring was rough. I was going against Geno Atkins every day because somehow he was a 2 all the way, my whole career at Georgia. He never started really.
Hold on, wait.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was a role guy. He went and ran track in the off season, so he didn't have to do the off season program. Yeah, so I'd be the one center going against Geno Atkins every day. I'm like, why is he not starting? He would take me and just throw me to the quarterback if he wanted to that day.
Yeah, now I know why you played in the league as long as you did, because that guy was a grown man.
Oh my goodness! Like that's what they always say. Who's the hardest guy you went to? I was like Geno Atkins in practice every day. Like doing pass rush with him. As a freshman and going through one-on-one board drills with him, he made me into a man real quick because games were easy. I'm like, he was my scout team guy going against during the week, or he was running laps around practice because Coach Gardner, the D-line coach for Tennessee now, would be like, he wouldn't give me effort. You come out with the wrong attitude, just run. So I'm like, yes, Geno's running laps today. He ain't practicing today.
I mean, but did you guys develop this veteran thing where you got to take it easy on each other? So he didn't strike me as a guy that would be a guy that take it easy.
So that's probably why we didn't get along that well in college. I didn't understand that. I thought it was a game every day. So I cut in practice. I would if it was a 3-step drop and it said cut on the playbook, I'd cut in practice. I'd cut the middle linebacker. So I had a lot of morning runs for fighting. If the O-line coach, I was like, hey, he told me to practice like I play. And the amount of morning runs I was getting for fighting, he'd be like, we're going to go to Waffle House. You're going to run some stadium. We'll go get some Waffle House, but we're not going to be a soft guy who doesn't do practice like we play. I'm like, this sucks having to wake up every morning and do morning runs because I just cut our starting middle linebacker on wide zone or cut somebody on a back block on power. So I didn't know that until I got in the league. I had to really learn how to practice once I got in the league.
Ben, you cutting guys in practice?
Absolutely.
Man.
And that was one of the things when I got here, Malarkey, I guess he came to one of our practices and stuff when he was in Jacksonville as a head coach. And I'd reach a shade and work him upfield and drop and cut late. And they were like, this is the starting nose he's cutting in the midweek of practice. I'm like, I'm practicing like I play. And they were like, I didn't understand that was not the norm. I was wondering why everybody fought me in practice and probably had the best rap with the defensive guys, but they hated me on the field, but they loved me on Saturday.
Yeah,
they were like, hey, you better do that on Saturday. I'm like, hey, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to fight. And I built that locker room around that. I practiced the same way. And after that first year, they're like, all right, that's just Ben. He's just going to do his own way. Let him be. And that's just kind of was.
Yeah. So and you never back down from that.
No.
Never back down. So you would rather take those early morning runs than to back down from being who you were supposed to be day in and day out.
Right. I remember my O-line coach would say, you're turning into a silver spoon if I didn't practice hard. And that used to just irk me so bad. Like, no, I came from a certain way, and I took pride in being the redneck that played with an edge, and he knew how to push my buttons. And that's all he had to say. Oh, silver spoon over there. You're turning into one of that. Thinks she's All-American now. And I think he's the one, he's like my father today. I call him all the time, and he's always trying to get me to come back and coach with him at Georgia. And he's a guy that knew how to push my buttons and really turn me into the guy I am today.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the roster that you guys had on that defense, who was the best trash talker on that defense?
Randy Curran was by far the worst. That he was
damn, Randy. He just cut you down right away.
He was the nicest guy in the world, best trash talker. The guys I went the round and round, Cornelius Washington, him and Justin Houston we would fight because we would get the live periods in practice. And the first time that I remember Justin Houston came around the corner and sacked the quarterback.
In practice.
I didn't take that highly.
Red jersey on.
Yes. Because they didn't blow the whistle the time before. And I remember turning around and I just hit the first one in sight. And the whole defense is running on the field. And I kind of moved to the side and I was just picking them off. They didn't have their helmets on. I was just full on just hitting one at a time in the face. Just cold clocking them. Friends and all, didn't care because it hit my quarterback. And I remember going into that team meeting
Who was the quarterback at the time? Was it Stafford?
No, I think it was either Joe Cox or Murray that year because I only had Stafford before one of them. If it had been Stafford, I would have probably still been fighting. So I remember coming into the team meeting and Coach Rick was sitting there. It's like, I'm going to give every person a morning run for every amount of punches they threw. He was going like, Clint Boland, 2 days. Cordy Glenn, 4 days. He went through them. Then he just had like a highlight tape of me. I had 21 days of morning run. And it was just like, he brought me in there, set me down, was like, we need to talk about something, Ben? I'm like, so what are you talking about? I need you to sit down with our anger management person. Like, what is your face? Why are you so mad? I'm like, Coach, he hit our quarterback. Like, we got a game this week. He was like, I understand that you protect him, Ben, but you are hitting people in the face with no helmets on as hard as you can. Like, we got kids with ruptured spleen or liver. I hit a kid, didn't know I was beating him on the side over there. A poor walk-on. I was sitting there just pummeling him because he come around the field and like push somebody in the back. And I was like, yeah, I got to learn how to where that fine line is. He was like, yes, I love it in between the whistle, but you got to calm it down. I'm like, so I had a lot of morning runs. Like, it was to the point, like, I was running, then finally the team's like, hey, we'll all come run with him to knock off 10 of them. I was like, thank y'all. Thank y'all. I'm going to be running until I had to leave here. So.
Did you grow up with dogs?
Yeah.
You had a dog that was just the same way.
No doubt.
You put him in that corner and he's just going to come out swinging.
Like, literally my brother. Like, we'd come after school and it would be to a point like he was known for boxing in our hometown. Like, we would fight and we'd show up after school like, hey, Joneses are fighting today after school. We'd bring our boxing gloves up there and he was like, my younger brother's fighting first. And I'd be like, who am I fighting? It'd be somebody from town. Wah, 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 wah. Then he could actually box. Like me, I was just out there street fighting, just out there swinging hands. and we'd fight for like $5, and he would get the pot because he would win. And that was our thing. Like, still today, like all my buddies and stuff, like, y'all used to fight upstairs in that little hallway, and he would have 2 gloves, and we would each get to have one. It'd be 2-on-1 trying to fight my brother in the hallway, and he would knock us both out. And my mom would just holler up there, her little sweet Southern self, "What y'all doing up there?" "Oh, we're just wrestling, Mom." And my buddies be like, "Man, he knocked us out. You had to put us in the shower to wake us up." I'm like, "Yeah, we probably weren't the smartest." But
so your whole career, your whole life was built off toughness.
100%. And that was my whole thing. Like, even my whole NFL career, like, I went from high school until like year 9 or 10 in the league and never missed a practice or a game. Like, I had broken bones, torn MCL.
That's impressive.
Collarbone come through the skin. Like, I was going to finish.
Never missed a practice.
Never missed practice. And that was the thing. Like, me and Vrabel used to fight at practice because he would try to take me out. And I'm like, I'm here for a reason. I'm here to practice. And it was to the point, like, he would try to give me off days. I'm like, I'm not taking one. Because as soon as I take it, I'm going to feel about myself. And that's what happened. My last year in the league, he started giving me half a day off on Friday because I wouldn't take a whole. I'm like, I'm getting hurt more very well because I'm taking days off. My callus is wearing off. He's like, you need to rest. I'm like, then concussions caught up and everything like that. But my whole thing was, if I can go, I'm going to practice. Now, I might have used every piece of tape Taki had in that locker room to go out to practice. But that was my thing. And Taylor used to always give me a hard time, like, chill. Like, he's like, Ben's definitely going to practice today. I need to go out there with a pulled calf or a sore knee. Like, if Ben's going to practice, I got to at least go out there. He's going to give me a hard time. So I tried to hold everybody accountable.
Well, we're gonna get to that culture that you've built here in Tennessee. But before we get to there, these coaches are coming, these scouts are coming to Georgia, watching you play, and they see this toughness in you. You know, where did that put you in the draft process? As you're going through the draft, were you a highly sought out center, or was you a guy that was kind of like, he's a guy that we just don't know if he's going to be a guard, if he's
right.
So were you one of these tweener guys?
Yeah, I'd really only played center in college. I was a big guy. I was 6'3", 315 to 320 in college. They thought I could play guard in the league, but I was like, yeah, whatever you want me to play, I can play it.
Yeah.
Because I was the next in at right tackle, next in at guard in practice, just wherever they needed me in practice. I'm like, our sixth man was David Andrews, the center for the Patriots for all those years. So if anybody got hurt, he would come to center, and I would have to just fill in practice. Thank goodness I didn't have to go out there and play tackle in the game.
It's a lot of space out there.
But practice would suck. Yeah. That's why I used to fight with Justin Houston and Cornelius. It was because of practice. I'd have to go take a rep at right tackle. I'm like, this is awful. But yeah, through the draft, I was going to be like the second center taken, and Peter Kontz was the number 1 guy from Wisconsin. He was a huge guy.
Yeah.
And everybody thought he was going to go late first round to the Ravens. I was going to be the second one off in the second round to the Falcons. I'd done all my meetings with them, like, hey, I'm going to probably go to the Falcons. And the Ravens traded back and didn't take him. They took somebody else that year, and the Falcons grabbed Peter Kontz in the second round. I'm like,
because he was sitting there.
And ended up going to the Texans in the 4th round. And I was like, why am I getting drafted here? They have Chris Myers, who's just been to back-to-back Pro Bowls. They're running wide zone. This guy weighs 280 pounds and can fly.
He can move.
I'm like,
it was my draft class.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I in this? Like, this is not the scheme I need to be in. But I came in and started at guard my first 3 years. Then he retired, and I ended up transitioning into center. Then was center from then on.
Yeah, and so I mean, you were in Houston what 4 or 5 years?
4 years.
4 years, and then you become a free agent, and then you end up here at Tennessee. And Lord, we needed you here.
Yeah, like sitting back in Houston, we'd won the division 2 or 3 years when I was there. Tennessee was the team that we looked forward to playing. Like, we're going to win that game. Because our division, it was always the Colts. Like, hey, it was us and the Colts. Like, they had Andrew Luck. They always had talent up there. And it was just, we're going to split with the Colts, and hopefully they would lose one other game to Jacksonville when it was really hot, or y'all would slip up on them. And when I came in, they were calling. I'm like, why in the world would I go to Tennessee? Like, they have the first pick in the draft. Like, I just came off a division championship, playing in the playoffs multiple years. I'm like, But they sold a dream to me. J-Rob and their staff sold me that thing, and I bought in. I was like, this is what I want to be.
We had some tough years when I was here, and then to see the J-Rob bringing in Braybo, you guys all of a sudden start to change the culture and identity of the Titans. And then you have a big back like Derrick Henry, from a cultural standpoint, from a, identity standpoint, this team was turning into, we're going to be a running team.
Right.
So how did you come in and ingratiate yourself into the locker room? Because every guy I talked to today, you're one of their favorite people to ever step into that locker room. How did you bring that same type of mentality to a locker room that you care from growing up to Georgia, now, being here in Tennessee?
Yeah, they sold me the thing like, hey, you're going to be the oldest guy in the O-line room as a year 5 player. I'm like, okay. They were like, we need a guy who's going to bring that toughness. We need a leader in there that's going to be able to practice every day. And we want to change the culture here. And I was like, that's entertaining. And then they were like, hey, and we're about to trade for DeMarco Murray. I'm like, we're going to run the rock. I was like, Arian Foster just left Houston. I was like, I want to get back to running the rock again, having a good back. They were like, we got a young quarterback. Here's Marcus, and we need you to be here and be a leader, make the calls for him, and bring a different image to the Titans. I was like, I'm in. They were like, you're in? Like, I could have went back to Houston. Houston offered more at the end. They came back, and I was like, no, they want me here.
Yeah.
Y'all are just doing this to hit a number for me. I'm like, they truly want to do something different. And I bought in. I was like, I want to be here, and I want to do something special.
Yeah. Well, how did you get in? And I played with Taylor Lewan. How did you get in? And as an older guy, being in the locker room with a bunch of young guys, how did you hold those young guys accountable? And how did they trust you? And how did you build that trust with them? Because again, a different era when we first came into league to now. How did you get those guys to trust you that you had their best interests? So, and you was going to be the guy that can be that conduit between the coaches and in the O-line room.
So for Taylor, you had to he had to know that you had his back.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what we did, he wanted to make sure he was comfortable with you. I was like, Taylor, you have nothing to worry about. Like, I know you're the most athletic guy on this team, and I need you. Like, I will be there every day at 4:45 and be the last one there. So I'll know everything you need to know and everybody else. So I just need you to run really hard every day in practice and talk your crap and do all that. I don't care what you say or do as long as you're that guy for me, because I'm going to be the X's and O's, and I'm going to be out here every day at practice, but I'm not going to be the rah-rah guy. Like, I can't do the juice, like running around, being the hype man. I'm like, that's your role. And he loved it. Like, that was his thing. Like, he was first on every sprint. He ran around, because that's what he is. He is a freak athlete that can run.
Yeah.
And he's not an X's and O's guy. You put him in the meeting, he's all over this place. So I'm like, just sit by me. Like, I'm like, I'll tell you the answers in the meeting. Like, you're going to block this defensive end, and you're going to do it really well for us. But you don't have to be a brainiac for me. Just sit here, have a great time. And the best thing for him was Russ Grimm coming, because he would listen to him, because Russ was a Hall of Fame guy and put up with nothing with Taylor. Taylor would say something, he'd be like, shut up, Taylor. And Taylor would be like, and so it kind of held Taylor. We had a good time with him. He knew how to have fun, but he knew he could put his thumb on Taylor, and Taylor would be like, can't say nothing to him.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect thing for Taylor. And through that, I think Taylor saw like how much I cared about the team. Like, I would do anything to practice. Like, he saw me knee come out, ankle mess up, collarbone sticking in the back of my throat. Like, and he was like, you're going to play? He's like, Ben, if I sprain my ankle, I'm out. I'm out. I'm like, Taylor, I know. He's like, we give him a hard time. He's
they
like,
don't make him like you know.
He goes, I am the not the toughest guy. He goes, something goes down. He goes, I got to check it. He's on the ground like, oop, I think it's okay. Doctor, tell me. I'm like, Taylor, are we going to get carted off today for an ACL that's not an ACL today? He's like, had to make sure. But I love him to death for it. Like, he always brought excitement to the game, and we knew, like, if anything wasn't right with Taylor, he was going to make sure before he came back out there. Yeah. And he was like, Ben's going to die out there before he comes off that field, and he'll fix it later. And that was just my MO. Like, I was going to have surgery every offseason, but I was going to play all year with it, no matter what it was, and I'd get it fixed in the offseason.
When did you know the type of leader you wanted to be?
I think I really embraced it in college. Like, from being the team captain from like my sophomore year on, and having that role and having a guys. And the hardest thing from going from college to pro was the age gap.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to be a leader when you're sitting there in a room as a 22-year-old rookie and you have a 32-year-old vet that's been there for 10 years. Like, hey, I can't talk to Dwayne Brown the same way I talk to Cordy Glenn and other guys in this room. Like, how do I earn their respect? And my thing was, hey, I'm going to go as hard as I can every day at practice. I'm going to practice every day. I'm going to meet. And I played beside Dwayne Brown for 2 years, and he was like, hey, Ben, I trust you with whatever. I know you're going to know what to do. Dwayne sat there and watched every one-on-one rep, the whole meeting, never looked up, but he was blocking Dwight Freeney that week.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dwayne, I will make every call for you, but you got to block Dwight Freeney today. Like, you got the hardest task in the world. Like,
spin cycle.
If you want to sit there and watch every one-on-one for 10 years, you got it. If he calls on a question for you, I'm like, I'll tell you that answer. He's like, bet. I was like, so we had a great working relationship. So I did other things. I went beyond way. I was there every day in the off season. Even when I was here, when I had a family and everything, I was there every day at 7 o'clock, even in the off season. I'd work out, sit down with a different coach, kind of learn what made them want to do what they do. And I think that's the impact I left over there. Like, I wanted to be there. Like, I wanted to win. And I signed 4 deals here, and I could have left after every one.
Right.
And money wasn't always the factor here. Like, I could have went to different places and got more money, but I wanted to win here. Like, I knew this was going to be home for me when I was done. And I wanted to have a winning culture when I left that I could be proud of.
Yeah, well, I think you can be very proud of what you did here in Tennessee because, like I said, that transformation is hard when you come in, trying to change the mindset of people to go from, being, losing all the time to, hey, we're winning and this is how we're going to win. And so kudos to you guys. I like to do a segment of this segment called 2 minutes. It's kind of like that 2 minutes going into halftime. So some little easy toss-ups for you.
Yes.
All right. Your favorite, the favorite win in your career. That could be college or pro.
New England playoffs, beating Brady his last game in New England.
Mic drop. That's enough said. The most underrated teammate you ever played with?
Luke Stocker. Played tight end, fullback. He learned every position. If we needed a tackle, he could play tackle for us.
Tight end. Not really playing tackle, but he can line up.
He could do anything. He was probably our third best tackle. He was 6'6". He would go play fullback for us. He'd be the F, Y. Played on special teams. Nobody would think that, but we needed him. Like, that's when we ran duo every play. We ran fullback lead back in the day. He was a guy who would never ask for anything. He'd be like, yep, I'll do it.
All right. Pre-game ritual.
Barefoot.
Yeah.
So that started so my brother was my role model in high school. My freshman year, I was the center. He was a junior quarterback and woke up the first game from a nap. He was like, hey, let's walk the field. Walked the field. Didn't even know I was barefoot. Like, walked the field, got up there, walked it. He threw for like 400-something yards that game. Next week, woke up, started putting on my shoes, walk out. He's like, no, take them off. So he was so superstitious. Like, he wouldn't wash his clothes for baseball, socks, stuff. Like, for me, I was like, whatever it is, it is. But he kept me to that, and I was like, man, I'm going to keep doing this for him. Like, he's a guy that was kind of the man of the house for us growing up since my dad passed. And it was kind of once I got to college, I was like, hey, I'm going to do this for him. We were still in the South, so it was warm. Never and I thought I was going to play in the league for 11 years, and we were playing in Kansas City in -10, Green Bay in a foot of snow. I'm like, I can't stop it now. I'm gonna keep doing this. So, and it kind of just carried on as a respect thing for him, and he works his butt off, and he's one of the toughest guys I know. And I was like, I'm not going to let him down. Like, he's a guy that he's my brother through and through. And it's a guy I can call at any time of the night, no matter what, and he'll be there for me.
So you did this every single game, rain, sleet, or snow.
100%.
Man, it's impressive. All right, I think I know the answer to this already. The toughest D-lineman you faced.
I ain't gonna lie. Sue, before he got paid, was an absolute animal in Detroit. Like, he's kicking everybody. He was doing all that. I think I gave up 16 pressures one day, no sacks. And I think every one of them was me just banking off of the guy. So him, before he got paid, And Geno Atkins was one of those guys. I feel like we played him twice a year in the playoffs in the first round, and we both won our divisions. And those games, you're like, God, I know Geno too well, and this is going to be the longest game of my life.
Oof. All right. I've been at Dominican Sue. Yes, I was in Chicago 2 years, so I know what you mean. Last one for you. If you can have one play back, what play would that be?
Kansas City game, AFC Championship. I hope we just tackle that Mahomes on his 50-yard scramble. If we could get that back, we're winning that and going to the Super Bowl.
That close.
That close.
That close. Well, Ben, I think what makes this fun for me is when I start thinking about like that skill set, that toughness. It's like, how do you take that toughness and you transition that toughness and transition that mindset outside of football? Now you have a long 11-year career. You played through everything. You don't miss, practices. But now it's time it's like starting to think about life out the football. What was that transition like for you? And take us through a little bit of what you're doing now with that life out the football.
Yeah, that first year was rough. Because at my last year I fixed my shoulder, my elbow, ankle, had 3 concussions, and my life was kind of turned upside down. Like, I've only had football. Like, my whole thing was I wanted to end it how I wanted to. So that first year out, I trained every single day like I was going to keep playing, because if I got the call, I wanted to be ready. And through that, I was like, all right, I was training every day, and I'm like, hey, what's the right decision to make? Is it to keep playing? Is it worth the risk for health risk? And I'm sitting there looking at my wife and kids. I'm like, am I being selfish? Like, am I chasing a dream and stuff just for pride? Or do I need to take a step back and look at what I have right here at home and be like, hey, this is enough? And we had some health stuff come up with our youngest, and I was like, this is God. Like, this is he's talking strictly to me. Like, I had 2 calls. Like, I was supposed to go sign with the Jets in free agency when Aaron just got there, and we had something come up with my youngest. I was like, hey, this is not the right time. Then literally I was on a flight about to go to Miami after they just lost to the Titans. They lost their center with an ACL, and the backup guy popped his calf. I'm literally about to fly there, and my wife calls me crying like, hey, I think something's going on with our son. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, hey, y'all are way more important. Like, this is God saying like, hey,
time to come
are you willing to risk this for your family? I'm like, no chance. So that was me like, hey, I need to pump the brakes, and you have blessed me so much and got me through all this career.
Yeah.
Like, it's time.
Yeah. And so now you come home and your first order of business is really to be a nurturer to your family and kind of get back integrated with that process. Cause it's, going through the season and training and injuries and, we spent a lot of time, away from all that. And so now you're integrating. So I remember when I first came back, and how many fights did you get in with your wife about trying to teach her how to do something efficient? Oh man! And she had to say, "Wait a minute, time out. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah,
don't come in here and tell me what to do now."
She ran. I give her all the credit. Like, she has ran the best house and did everything for our kids while I could focus on football. And I would come in and play dad, I would say. I'd come home for 2 hours, play, be the best dad I could be, put him to bed. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And she was like, then I got home and I was there every day. I was like, how do you do this? Like, I need space. I need a break. I need a routine. So I had to find that routine, if it was from working out, if it's from getting outside and golfing with friends. Like, I needed that locker room feel. Like, I needed to be around that thing. And that's why I chose Nashville to live. I'm like, it's so many of us in this community, in our kids' school, outside of it. I don't think you can find that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, we have something special here in Nashville. And I always say, like, find a group of guys that brings the best out of you. And I have a good group of guys that I golf with, that I work out with, that they bring the best out of me. Yeah. I want to be the best dad, the best husband, and try to be the best golfer. And I have those guys around me at all times. But the golf is not working out for me. They're good other mentors, but I need a little more help on the golf game.
Hey, you got a big frame to get around, So
those darn kickers, they got all the flexibility.
Well, so now you're in this transition. You've kind of trying to figure out what is that next thing for you. And then I noticed that, one of my old teammates come back to Nashville. His brother is here as a head coach at Innsworth. And what a guy that they call over and say, hey, can you come over and help us, coach? And how, now you're over helping these guys out over at Innsworth High School, coaching some high school football. How are you now trying to instill some of this toughness into kids in a way that they can excel and be able to sit through some of the hard things?
Right. When I have that opportunity, I really played on it hard. And I was like, hey, I want to be in a guy who's has 3 kids, who's going through this life just a little ahead of me. Tim has an older daughter and then 2 younger sons. I'm like, I need a guy that I can look up to who lives the right way, who values his family and God. I'm like, this is a great opportunity to learn from somebody and impact other guys. I was like, I'm not going to pass up on this. And he's literally one of my best friends. Didn't know what the role was going to be. And he was like, hey, just if you want to come one day, if you just want to come pop in and do X's and O's with Matt and help him on the run game. I'm like, yeah. He said, if you want to do some O-line stuff, like literally the first week, I just literally showed up, kind of just oversaw, just kind of watched a little bit. Then competitive got into it. I was like, hey, we're playing NBA this week. I'll be there every day. I'm over here. I'm like, Matt, this is they're running a 3-4. They run this every time. I'm like, we got to dial up this. He was like, where did this come from? I was like, he's like, I need this. So I sit up in the box with Matt, and we I think if you ever come to an Innsworth game, you're going to hear me. I'm up there losing it like I'm playing back in the day. I take pride in that. And I think the runs that we put in, we're going back to the old school. We're running your whams, your powers, your blast, your lead weak, lead strong. Instead of me going out there and showing I can do it, I think it's the mentality and the plays that we put in to instill like, hey, we are going back to that tough mentality of football. Okay,
all right. So you've taken it and you brought it out and said, hey, I don't have to go out here and fight and do all this, but we're going to line up and we're going to run these ISOs at you. We're going to run the tough nose where you got a fullback, you got a tight end dropping back in that backfield where, hey, we're going to crack some heads.
Yeah, when you line up and you're in 32 personnel on first down, and be like, hey, let's see how you adjust. Are you going to put goal line or are you going to stay in 3-4?
Yeah.
And if you don't adjust, I'm like, we'll just run it again. Again.
Until you stop it.
Then if you want to we can get cute if we need to. I feel bad for Tim's son, who's our quarterback. I'm like, yes, we need to throw some balls, but I really like just running it right down people's throat. And because he's a great kid, great leader on our team. And I take pride in that. Like, those kids know I love winning, and I have our little fantasy football league with them, with the seniors each year to try to mentor them through that. Yeah. I win, of course. Like I drafted the king, Derrick Henry, in the first round. They're like, you're stupid. And end up winning the league. So I let them know, like, hey, old man still knows what he's doing. And being able to mentor those kids in my house, sitting there watching Thursday night football with them and trying to show them like, hey, this is what my family looks like. This is where I struggled in high school to transition into college, because I don't want to see those kids struggle.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see them have a smoother transition from high school to college, because that is a big step in their life. And I let them know, like Ethan Utley, he's at Tennessee right now, and I still talk to him a couple times a week, like giving him a hard time. Like, hey, Georgia's down there, could really use you. Like, don't you start today. But great kid, and his mom went to Georgia, played basketball there, so we have that dog in him. And just having that guy that he can reach out to, because I say it's going to get hard. You have Coach Garner, who was the D-line coach to me. He's not the same guy who recruits you every day.
Yeah,
he is going to give it to you.
He's a different guy.
He's
Once
a different
recruiting is over with,
I was like, you're going to need somebody to talk to, because you're going to be wanting to leave after that first week. And he was like, man, you were so right. I'm like, so just being through that for those guys and having a guy that they can call them like, hey, I know what you're going through. And because I needed somebody, my brother was that for me, and not everybody has that. So just kind of be a little light for those guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got the magic touch, because I'm trying to figure out how do you get Matt to just run the ball the way you guys run the ball. Because, again, I mean, my son goes to Lipscomb, and so we played you guys this year, and you guys lined up and ran the ball down our throat. I'm trying to figure out who's actually calling these plays up here, because I know Matt likes to throw the ball. So what are you whispering to him to make him, or how are you twisting his ear to say, run the damn ball right now?
He just asked. He's like, what you want here? I'm like, oh, this would be a great one here. It works. And I feel like he's like, I give Matt credit. I know as a quarterback and his nephew is the quarterback. Right. He's the biggest competitive ever. He wants to win, and he wants to, and he will do anything. He had Sean Alexander back in the day.
Yeah.
He knew how to hand it off.
Yeah.
And that was our thing. We knew when to throw it. We knew when to take our shots. And every once in a while, I'd grab his leg and like, we're on the 2-yard line. Run the ball. But he's great. Like we have a great relationship now. We've had some long car rides to Memphis, going out there and playing. That's the thing with Nashville. You have to travel
you got to drive
a long way.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
we had some car rides, eating Chick-fil-A on the way, having some long talks. And through that year, I think we got a lot closer. And that's our whole goal is what does it take? How do we not turn the ball over and how do we win? And if it's throwing it that week, if they want to line up and give us blitz zero, we can throw it. Or if you're going to give us nickel defensive base, we're going to run it.
Yeah.
We're going to play the best matchup.
Yeah. I like it. Now, I know that's not all you do though. Like as a coach, you're not just coaching. I know you've put that big brain to use in some other areas. What else are you doing that? I like for people to know, like, more about who you are and what you're about, because a lot of people think we just line up and play football.
Right.
So, or go and coach. But you got some other exciting things going on too.
Yeah. So they always said when I was playing, I was the one-stop shop for anything. Like I would come in and they'd be like, hey, go talk to Ben. If you needed somebody to talk through finances with you, if you needed somebody to help you find a house in town, if you needed a restaurant in town, hey, what did I need to do? They would just go to Ben. He's going to be in the hot tub early or he's going to be in the cold tub after practice. Just sit down and talk to you. Coaches are moving to town. Instead of using the real, like, hey, Ben will find you a place. Like he can find you a place. He'll show you where your kids want to go to school. So that was my thing is you can't just replace a player.
Right.
You were replacing a guy somebody was going through a hard time with family. Hey, go talk to Ben.
Yeah.
Hey, you need some help with real estate. You need help with somebody to sit there and explain, this is what my portfolio looks like. I want you to have money when you retire. Like this is how mine's structured. Can I get on a call with you to meet with my guy to let him talk you through different things? Like all I wanted the guys to, when you're done with football, you ain't got to sit there and like, man, where'd all my money go?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted guys to be like, hey, I have a plan, and not everybody wants to help you. And my whole thing was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, and I think that was a way I got a lot of guys to trust me in that locker room.
Yeah.
Like I ate breakfast with guys, I ate lunch with guys. I'd have them over at my house. We'd have the whole family over. And through that, I think it built a great relationship with the whole team. And now I think I'm a real estate mogul guy. I'm flipping houses because I cannot sit in the home. My wife's like, you got to find something to do. And I'm like, if it's walking 10 miles in the morning to buying and selling, flipping properties, if it's from coaching to coaching kids, like I have so many passions. And they're like, why don't you just get your real estate license? I'm like, I don't want to be a realtor. I want to help other people. And then she's like, you could be making money. I'm like, it's not all about that. I said they wouldn't call me if they were thinking I was trying to get money out of it.
There you go.
So it's not about the money always. I just want to help other people around me and make an impact on them.
Well, Ben, this has been a fantastic conversation. I think about this, just the heart that you have, the toughness, the transitions and things you've made in life, ups and downs, and now you're sitting here, in a probably found your sweet spot in life and being able to enjoy life and being able to look back at the things that you've accomplished, the impact you left with the Titans, and now the impact you continue to leave with a lot of these kids. If you had to say, one or two intangibles that has made you who you are, what would that be?
Be a man of your word. If you're going to say you're going to do something, do it. And I know my wife's like, man, if I say I'm going to do something, she's like, you're going to jump through loops and bounds to do that. And I think a lot of people don't hold up to that today. They'll say something, not do it. And I give my kids fits for it. You said you were going to do that? My wife's like, they're 4, Ben. I'm like, they got to learn.
They're going to
learn today. And so I say, be a man of your word, and don't always just go with your heart. Like it comes down to it. If your heart's in the right place, you're going to do it for the right reason.
Yeah.
Like it's not always, it doesn't make the most sense sometimes, but if you have a calling or a passion, like trust it. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get scared of that and run away from things, and just trust what you're passionate about.
Well, Ben, I'm glad you trusted your heart, because you definitely has, left a major impact. And now I'm glad you got the chance to, sit here with you and share your story, people to really understand who you are, but also hopefully someone can learn something and also as a parent teaching their kid, how to be able to have some of these resilient pieces and have this mindset of, follow your heart, do what you say you're going to do, because we are in an era where we need to hear more stories like this. So I really appreciate you jumping on Intangible Podcast and sharing your story.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.